All right, guys. So I ran across this story that I would define as interesting, to say the least, in which you had a couple students that were caught using a pride flag as toilet paper. Right? They stole the flag from a classroom, and then they went to the bathroom. They recorded all this on TikTok, by the way, and they defecated on the flag and basically tried to flush it down the toilet. Now, again, all this was caught on TikTok. Now, in response to this act that obviously I'm not condoning, but in response to this, the principal decided to ban all political flags, right? All political flags outside of the American flag, with the only exception being flags that are of a certain size, like being really small. And this is something I've talked about a lot. In situations like this and stories like this is exactly why you can have it all or you can have none of it, right? Preferably, you probably have none of it, because we do need to depoliticize our classrooms, right? That's what we need to do, okay? But there are some people that really just want what they want, and it doesn't matter about everybody else, because, you know, there are certain people in this country that feel marginalized and oppressed, okay? Now, the way that the school responded to this by banning all flags, which I think was the right move, okay, that is being criticized, right? As students are now speaking out against this and saying that this wasn't right, okay? Now, I'm going to read a summary of what happened with kind of both sides of the story and the response here, so you guys can get a better understanding of this situation. When students at the California school stole their teacher's pride flag, defecated on it, and posted it on TikTok, the school responded with a ban. According to the San Luis Obispo Tribune, last month, two boys at Paso Robles High School in California posted a TikTok video in which they defecated on their science teacher's large classroom pride flag before trying to flush it down the toilet. Although the student claims it took disciplinary action against the boys after it was alerted to the incident by other students, it then responded by banning similar pride flags. On the 1st of October, teachers received a letter about a new policy to make sure classrooms weren't politicized. It told teaching staff to remove any flags that were alterations of the American flag and limited any other flags to 2 feet by 2 feet, a significantly smaller size than the flag that was stolen. Paso Robles Joint Unified School District Superintendent Kirk Dubose, who sent the letter, told the publication, quote, "We don't want to turn it into a politicized issue where a student enters a classroom and looks up, oh, there's a rainbow flag, oh, there's a Blue Lives Matter flag here. That determines what the partisanship is of my teacher." Quote, "We think that's a real slippery slope, and so we continue to believe that this is a very reasonable compromise solution that allows rainbows, but within reason." Okay, yeah, so I don't see what's the issue with this solution, right? He's saying, listen, we don't want any political flags whatsoever outside of the American flag, which in my opinion, the American flag is not political. It is simply the official flag of this country that represents everybody, right? He also cites the Blue Lives Matter flag. He should have also cited the Black Lives Matter flag as well, because when you see those symbols in a classroom, it automatically tells you where that person aligns politically, where the teacher aligns politically, okay? That's what happens, and that's not something we should have in public schools. So in order to come to a compromise, he said, listen, we'll just ban everything except the American flag and really small flags, which I think he's being a little bit lenient here even with that, because in my opinion, I just would ban all of it except the American flag, okay? That way, you don't have these students basically trying to troll, or these flags becoming a distraction in school because students are trying to get around this rule and use it as a loophole to make a statement, which essentially is what we're going to read about in a little bit. But again, for whatever reason, people don't believe in common sense solutions when it comes to this stuff. They don't want to come to the middle and agree on something that just makes sense, that really takes out the distractions from the learning environment. It makes it so everybody can just focus on what students are actually there in school to do, which is to learn, not to be social justice activists, right? That's not what they're there for, okay? They're not there for politics. You're there for learning. But Sophomore Eve Barajas, president of the high school's equity club, said, quote, "It's obvious just banning the pride flag altogether, unless you want those little mini ones, it's a way of subtly just getting rid of it." Okay, so here we go. Right? They're still allowing the little flags, right? If it's small, you can have it. But that's not enough, right? That's not enough. You got to have a big banner, or else, it's a problem. It's an issue. There's just some people you can't satisfy, man. You just can't satisfy them. Their defense was that the pride flag may be a trigger for certain students. But if I had said that the American flag was a trigger to me, I might be treated like a terrorist. I don't think that's true, because there are a lot of people that think that the American flag is triggering. I've done videos about this, and I don't think I've called them terrorists, right? I think that it's silly to be triggered by the American flag. Consider how the American flag represents everybody and everything this country's been through, for good or bad. Queer students say the school has allowed the haters to win with pride flag ban. LGBT plus students and their allies at Paso Robles High School have been protesting the flag ban by drawing tiny pride flags, which fall within the guidelines, and putting them up around school. In a joint op-ed for the San Luis Obispo Tribune, they wrote, "What message does this send to students? The flag ban means the school has allowed the haters to win, while LGBT plus students feel punished for wanting to be seen and supported. When you are a high school student in the LGBTQ plus community, you walk into every classroom and school bathroom not knowing if you're enter a safe space." Okay, first of all, listen, everywhere in life cannot be a safe space, first and foremost. But in general, if you walk into a classroom with no political flags, then you know that, or at the very least, they're not showing any bias towards a certain group of people, right? I can say if I walk into a classroom with a pride flag, maybe that's not a safe space for somebody who might not necessarily agree with that lifestyle, right? I can make the same argument either way, which is, again, why you should ban all of it. And honestly, this superintendent who made this policy, he's actually giving you a little bit too much leeway, right? Because just allowing the small pride flags, really, in my opinion, is too much. You should just ban all of it, right? Just ban all of it, okay? Except the American flag. That's it. But even if you get a little bit, people still want to complain about it. Again, it's crazy. And the thing is, not having that stuff in school actually helps avoid students doing these so-called acts of hate, right? So if you don't have any pride flags in school, then how can you have one to flush down the toilet, right? And to post on TikTok, okay? How can you have one? That doesn't happen if there's no pride flags allowed. Same thing if, there's no Trump flags allowed, then you can't take a Trump flag and, use it like toilet paper and try to flush it down the toilet on TikTok. Okay? It prevents these acts that trigger so many people, that make so many people upset, from happening in the first place. Okay? It's actually a way to protect people from this type of stuff. That's what neutrality is. Neutrality protects everybody. Everybody doesn't get what they want, but it protects everybody. Quote, "You endure angry stares, hurtful comments, and relentless assaults of microaggressions that erode our mental health and self-confidence. It is exhausting. It is oppressive. It is unacceptable. And so we're coming out against hate." Again, I find that interesting because, again, you're saying that you're getting all this hate and hurtful comments. But, again, if you don't have the flag in school, then people can't conduct these acts that you don't like. Okay? There's less ammunition to use. And also what's crazy here is how when people burn the American flag, it's seen as heroic, right? You're being brave. But if you do something like this to the pride flag or a BLM flag or some other flag that's associated with a left-wing movement, it's called an act of hate. Again, I don't condone either one, right? But I do understand the free speech argument for it, but I don't condone it. I don't think it's smart. I don't think it's a good thing to do that, right? But again, when it comes to the left, you don't get that balance. From the left is, oh, it's okay to burn the American flag. That's not an act of hate. But, if you do that to the LGBTQ flag or a BLM flag, then, that's an act of hate. Again, I find this stuff interesting. The students have organized a forum titled "Coming Out Against Hate" to be held at school on October 20th. For the first time, pupils will have an opportunity to share their experiences and visions for a more welcoming, inclusive educational environment. The most inclusive part about having an educational environment is not having politics, okay? Not having political signage in the classroom. That's how you make it inclusive. The American flag is inclusive of everybody. You're an American, okay? You're an American. Well, I mean, hey, some people in these California classrooms, they might not necessarily be Americans. They might be here illegally, but I'm just saying, they're still in a great country where you live in a great life. There's nothing more inclusive than that. Everybody wants to talk about inclusivity, except they want to push policies and symbols that divide and exclude, right? When you push a symbol like Black Lives Matter or the LGBTQ flag, essentially you're saying that, hey, these groups get special treatment. We're excluding everybody else, okay? You say you want to be included, except you always are trying to exclude other people, namely straight white people, right? Okay? That's what's happening. And again, I just find it funny how they banned a big version of the flag. They still allow the small flags, and people are still complaining and upset about it. Right? It's kind of crazy. But let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.